بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بالحسين عليه السلام. Today was the day of Arbaeen of Abu Abdullah and his companions. We send our condolences to the Imam of our time, Ajjal Allah Ta'ala Farajak. We'll start the program with Quran recitation, followed by poetry, and then we'll have inshallah a speech from the Sayyid, followed by Lutmiya, and then we'll have Ziyarat Arbaeen, which is normally recited during the day of Arbaeen of the 20th of Safar. We will have that at the end of the program, and then inshallah we'll have dinner, Tabarruk dinner. Before we start, I'd like to request all of you to recite a Surah Fatiha for the marhumeen of the family who's providing dinner tonight. The marhumeen whose names are on this wall, and all your marhumeen with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Inshallah, we'll read a few verses from Surah Al-Mulk. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت. ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور. ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير. ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب
سعير وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير الله أكبر الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله الكريم.
صل على محمد. Request you to recite a Surah Fatiha for marhum Sayyid Hassan Zafar Ibn Sayyid Nasir Hussain with the Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Inshallah, we'll start the program. I'd like to request Brother Danish Ali to come and recite poetry in English with the Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Nare Haydari Ya Ali Haydari Ya Ali.
Inshallah, I'm going to begin reciting a poetry in English for the day of Arbaeen with the Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
The evildoers plotted with a treacherous strategy. People say time heals all wounds. They never heard of your tragedy. We gather after 40 days and remember you lying on that desert plain. We remember how you crawled for help, but lay deserted, slain. Dead heads on spears, Zainab's eyes filled with tears. Zainab's heart filled with tears, women and children veilless and chained. Hussein and the companions are dead now. The children have been orphaned. Dogs and pigs drank water from the Euphrates, but the family of Rasulullah didn't receive any portion. Instead, the enemies whipped them and threw them on bare camels. When people stop forbidding evil, the honorable are treated worse than animals. From Karbala to the street of Kufa to the dungeons in Sham, Yazid's army tortured the caravan, trying to extinguish the light of Islam. Sakina slept on the cold floor, screaming as men beat and whipped her imam. Death from intense grief overtook some of the women, the others marched on. My condolences on what took place in those dungeons after you, O Hussein. Time separated us and distance distanced us, but we are with you, O Hussein. But are we really with you, or is this another promise unfulfilled? Plenty of empty slogans were expressed and thousands of letters leading for you to be killed. If the morning prayer passes while I sleep through this responsibility, how am I with you, O Hussein? Legends of the heavens took arrows to the chest, well beyond their death to protect the prayer, O Hussein. If I curse, backbite, and slander the believers, how am I with you, O Hussein? You refrain from such behavior, but your killers indulge in it, O Hussein. If I don't observe patience and swallow my anger, how am I with you, O Hussein? Lessons unapplied will surely lead to my demise if I am not careful, O Hussein. Your head on a spear recited verses of the Quran. My head intact, do I neglect the Holy Quran? Is our promise to strive for material gain or to strive for Islam? We see people acquiring their worldly desires, but we don't see our Imam. I ask Allah to hasten his reappearance so that we may avenge Ashura. But maybe Allah is waiting for someone genuine instead of this letter from Kufa. If I come to this majalis but still curse and backbite, I have made a mockery of this remembrance and of Imam Hussein's sacrifice. We must learn from these lessons and purify our hearts to meet Abba Abdullah in paradise. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I'd like to request Brother Abu Haider to come and recite poetry in Arabic with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
This قصيدة for Sayyid Hashim Al-Sitri Al-Bahrani. He is from Al-Bahrain. Very famous Arabic قصيدة. I'm talking about the Arabian countries there, specifically Iraq. I'm talking about the Arbaeen. He's talking about the 20th of the Safar, calling us, hey, come to renew our sadness about the loss that we got on the 10th of Ashura. Because on this day, the heads of the Al came back to the graves. قم جدد الحزن في 20 من صفر ففيه ردت رؤوس الآل للحفر آل النبي التي حلت دماؤهم في دم قوم جميع الكفر منه بري يا مؤمنون احزنوا فالنار شاعلة ترمي على عروة الإيمان بالشرر ضجوا لسفرتهم وأبكوا لرجعتهم. لا طبت من رجعة كانت ومن سفري تذكروا مبتدأ الأيام رجعتهم. وعقبوا سوء ما لاقوا بذا الخبر فسلهم هل رجعتم للجسم وقد تركتموها مزار الذئب والنسر. وسلهم عن رؤوس الآل هل نشفت دماؤها أم لها التقطير كالمطر. وسل أرأس حسين غاب رونقه أم نوره مخجل للشمس والقمر. وسل عن اللؤلؤ المنظوم في فمه لعله بعد قرء غير منتشر. وسله عن جبين كان منتجعا من الرسول بتقبيل الرسول حري. واستحكي عن شعرات في كريمته فديت طلعة ذاك الشيب في الشعر. هل الطراوة في الوجه الوجيه له أم غيرتها ليالي السود بالغير. وقد رووا أنه لما يزيد انقضى مأربا من بني المختار بالضرر دعا يزيد علي بن الحسين إلى مقامه في علو أي مفتخر. وقال معتذرا يا ابن الحسين لقد كان الذي كان أمرا صار في القدر. أبوك قاومني في الملك مفتخرا يقول إني بتقديم عليك حري. وكان يعلم أني لا أطيع له لا أترك الملك لو خلت في سقري. والآن إذ كان ما كان وازدهرت لآل سفيان دور الفتح والظفر. لآل سفيان دور الفتح والظفر. صلوا على محمد وآله.
I'd like to request Brother Haider and Zamin to come and recite poetry in Urdu with Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
अपने दुखों में आया जो शबीर का अपने दुखों में आया जो शबीर का
سہارا دیا ہمیں ہر غم غم حسین میں تبدیل ہو گیا اپنے دکھوں میں آیا جو درود پڑھیے گا محمد وعلی محمد چھٹ کے آلے پیمبر کا قافلہ بعد سفر جو پہنچا سر دشتے گنج شہیداں گیا عابد نے دی صدا بنت علی کو تخت کا یارا نہیں رہا کرب و بلا میں آہو فغاں شور و شین تھا کرب و بلا میں آہو فغاں شور و شین تھا تربت پہ اپنے بھائی کی زینب کا بین تھا زندان سے چھٹ کے آلے درود پڑھیے محمد وعلی محمد میر انیس کے اشعار چند سلام کی شکل میں آپ لوگوں کی پیش خدمت ہے صلو علی محمد وعلی محمد باور سن لے زمانہ حسین سے تھے حسین سے تھے بقا فنا کو بنایا حسین سے تھے بقا فنا کو بنایا حسین سے تھے بغور سن لے زمان چوری کے نیچے وہ خالق سے پیار کی چوری کے نیچے وہ خالق سے پیار کی خجل کو ہو گیا سکتا حسین سے تھے سپاہ شام شجاعت کا دبے نہ لاکھوں سے تنہا حسین سے تھے بغور سن نظام اٹھایا بیٹے کا درود پڑھیے محمد والے محمد کمر کو باندھ کے پیری میں جلتی کمر کو باندھ کے پیری میں جلتی رہتی اٹھایا بیٹے کا لاشا حسین سے تھے بغور سن لے جب کی لاش اٹھائی بنائی قبر جب کی لاش اٹھائی بنا قبر کہیں بھی
عزم نہ بدلا حسین سے تھے بغور سن لے زمانہ حسین سے تھے بغور سن لے زمانہ. فاتحہ. امام حسین کی چیزوں کے حوالے سے مرسی کی چند بنا کو چہلم جو کربلا میں 72 کا ہو چکا چہلم جو کربلا میں 72 کا ہو چکا پیوند بے کسوں کے تنو سر کا ہو چکا اور فاتحہ حسین کے لشکر کا ہو چکا قبروں پہ شور آلے پیمبر کا ہو چکا ماتم میں 3 روز رہے شور و شور سے روئے لپٹ لپٹ کے مزارے حسین سے روئے لپٹ لپٹ کے مزارے حسین سے مثل چراغ گورے غریباں بدل جلائے پھولوں کے بدلے قبروں پہ لگتے جگر چڑھا ہر پیاروں کی بھوت و باش کے سامان جو یاد بے ساختہ پکارے کلے جا پکڑ کے کنبے کے ساتھ داخلے کربلا ہوا لایا جو تھا مدینے سے ہم کو وہ کیا ہوا لایا تھا جو مدینے سے ہم کو وہ کیا ہوا آئے تھے کس طرح سے وطن کے طرح چلے نہ شہر رہے نہ گودیوں میں گود کے پلے سوتے تھے قبر میں جو کٹائے ہوئے گلے یہ وقت وہ تھا پھرتے تھے سب آنکھوں کے تلے عابد سے بانو کہتی تھی مہلت قلیل ہے کچھ خاک پاک لے لو کہ صغرا علی ہے کچھ خاک پاک لے لو کہ صغرا علی ہے करबलाए सरवरे दिलगीर अलविदा है कत्ल गाहे हजरते शबीर अलविदा है कब्र इब्ने साहिब तत्हीर अलविदा है भाई जान जाती है हमशीर अलविदा क्या गम नसीब है ये नवासी रसूल की तुमने मुजावरी न हमारी कबूल की तुमने मुजावरी न हमारी कबूल की चहलुम जो करबला में मौला को गम न दे आप लोगों को सिवाय गम हुसैन के सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद
Today is the end of our short 2-day lecture series. We have been honored to have Sayyid Ali Musawi amongst us for these 2 days of lectures. I'd like to thank Sayyid for being with us in our community here and being part of the commemoration of the Arbaeen. We have really benefited from his lecture, and inshallah tonight as well we will benefit. Sayyid has requested the community, brothers and sisters, that if you have questions, he's available to answer those questions after the program. Ladies and gentlemen both, we had last night a long session on the men's side after the lecture. So please, ladies, if you want to have that, we can coordinate with Sister Arbaeen or Sister Isma and let us know, and inshallah we'll have the Sheikh Sayyid come and talk to you guys to answer your questions. I'd like to thank Sayyid for being here again with us, and we request him that he will come and visit us again inshallah in our future programs. This time I'd like to request Sayyid to come to the minbar with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
نحن صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. نعره حیدری حیدری صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. One more time with loud salawat.
من شر الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. First and foremost, I wanted to thank the community for inviting me to come and speak. It was really an honor being amongst you, and just from the short period of time, I can tell it's really a beautiful community, a beautiful group of brothers. Inshallah, Allah will increase you in your tawfiq, in your barakat, and inshallah He will give you increase in everything that you do. I wanted to send my condolences upon each and every one of you on the Arbaeen of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And I wanted you to know that by being in these majalis, this is really a tawfiq. That out of the 6 billion people, 7 billion people, it's really a tawfiq that Allah has given to each and every one of you, that you have this opportunity to have this love in your hearts and to participate in majalis like this. It's not very often that we see that others have this tawfiq, so really we have to thank Allah for this blessing. He has blessed us with a wealth that is beyond measure. We really can't measure it if we wanted to measure. The third point is, thank you so much. I wanted to thank all of the organizers. I know a lot of times the individual who comes to speak, he's visible, so he gets credit for being the face of these programs. But the truth of it is, in the organization that we have in San Diego, I know how it is, that before this program begins for 1 hour, 2 hours, people are coming here early and they're cooking and they're cleaning and they're preparing. And afterwards, when everyone has gone home and they have benefited, again people stay and they clean and they help organize and prepare for the next day. So I wanted to just recognize the sacrifices that people make in order to make these programs possible. Inshallah, let us send a salawat for these individuals. It appears that this is Iranian tea, mashallah. So the question that we began last night was this question, and we're going to continue with it inshallah tonight. And the question was this, that why is it that when it comes to this issue of basira, so many people are lacking in basira? We define basira as the ability that a human being has, that they look at an individual or they look at a situation and they're able to see beyond face value. But when we see many human beings, many people, Muslims included, Shias included, they lack this basira. They lack this ability to look deeper into the issue. And so oftentimes when we look at the history of the Ahlul Bayt, they were fooled again and again and again. And they were a source of trouble and torment to the Imams. We too are waiting for our Imam to come. When our Imam comes, Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, we're going to have to recognize him. Who is this Imam? And the enemies are going to have propaganda. They're going to try to dissuade us from recognizing and following our Imam. The question that we must have is, what are the things which increase basira so that we don't fall into the trap that people in the past have fallen into? There's a few things that increase basira. I'm going to try to keep this short. The first thing, which is related to basira, this ability to have insight, is knowledge. And this is something which we all recognize. That if an individual has knowledge, meaning they have knowledge of the Quran, they have knowledge of the ahadith, they have knowledge of history, they're able to look at a situation, and because they have the wisdom that comes from this, they're able to recognize patterns. If we look at history, they say it oftentimes repeats itself. That which you see in the past, we see today. If you can recognize the tyrants and the characteristics which they had in the past, you can recognize the tyrants of today. So knowledge is one of these things that if we increase our knowledge, our basira, our ability to read a situation, our ability not to be fooled, is also going to increase. And if we lack knowledge, we don't read the Quran, we don't read the ahadith of the Ahlul Bayt, we don't look into history, then it is possible that when the Imam comes, we're not going to have enough knowledge to recognize him. Now, there's another issue, and this is the most important issue. It is more important than knowledge itself. And this issue, it comes to the question that we're going to be posing. The question is, what are we? Because if we want to recognize who the Imam is, we have to recognize what we are. Many times when you wake up in the morning, at least I'm this way, as soon as we wake up, you go into the bathroom and you wash your face. and you look in the mirror and maybe you see a few white hairs, you begin to panic. Maybe there's a few wrinkles, you try to push them back into place. This is the normal day-to-day reaction that we have, and we look and we see ourselves. But the truth of it is that that which you are seeing in the mirror, it's not the real you. Now, you're not hallucinating. It's real. Don't worry. But that is not really you. Because when we look at the Holy Quran, there is these interesting verses which reveal a little bit deeper. They say that on the day of judgment, there is a group that is going to be raised blind. And they're going to be in a state of panic. They're going to be in a state of fear. They're going to say, Ya Rab, Ya Allah, we had eyes in the past world. Why are we blind in this world? Allah is going to tell them the following. You were blind in the previous world. You just didn't know it. I have resurrected you as you really were. As you really were. Others are going to be raised in the shape of pigs and dogs. These verses is showing us a reality that we are really two parts as a human being. On one hand, we are a soul. On the other hand, we are a physical body. Allah has fused these two things. But when the moment of death comes, the angels of death are going to unfuse and they're going to essentially take the soul and they're going to separate it from the body. The body remains, it decays, it goes away, and the soul goes and it receives another body, the body of barzakh. It's another world. It's another life. And then the day of judgment, when it comes, the barzakhi body will also die, and then Allah will give you another body, the body which is going to be a real body for the rest of eternity. On that day, when we look at these transitions, we're going to see that there was one constant. What was the constant? It was the soul. It was the soul. So really, what we really are, it's not this physical body that you see, it is the soul which is within you. Now, because the soul is metaphysical, it is not material, we cannot feel it, we cannot see it, we oftentimes neglect it. But just like someone who wants to build muscle, I don't know where the brother is with the muscles. He's somewhere here. He's hiding. If someone wants to become beautiful physically, they want to become strong physically, what do? They go to the gym. And they know that the trainer says if you do this number of reps, your muscle will grow strong. Your body will become beautiful. And the opposite, if you go to Krispy Kreme donuts, I don't know if you guys have Krispy Kreme in Arizona. We have Krispy Kreme over there. If you go and you eat 5 donuts a day, what is going to happen after 2 months? You're going to become weak, out of shape. My brothers and sisters, there is an important point that we have to recognize here. The good deeds that we do and the evil deeds that we do, they have the exact same effect on the soul. Every time that you do something beautiful, the soul becomes beautiful. The soul becomes strong, it becomes powerful. And on the day of judgment, you're going to see the reality of what you created. Every single day you're creating. You're creating. And whenever you commit a sin, you are disfiguring your soul. You are making it ugly. You are destroying your soul. You're weakening your soul. This is what we're doing every day that we wake up. Every action that we do. Every good deed and every bad deed, we are altering the soul that Allah has given to us. And when we die, Allah is going to show us the reality of what we have created. The example I give, and these are all bad examples because we can't really see it, we can't really understand it. It is like a sculpture that you're creating. Every time you do a beautiful deed, a good deed, you pray, you give charity, it is as if you are sculpting this beautiful figure. And every sin that you commit, you are disfiguring it, you are cutting off its ears, you are cutting off its nose. Our actions that we commit, the deeds that we do, this is exactly what we are doing. So here, my brothers and sisters, we have to understand this reality. Now, what is the biggest destroyer of basira? Because we were discussing the issue of basira. The biggest destroyer of basira is the sins. What do the sins do to us? They weaken our ability to perceive reality. They weaken our ability to understand Allah, to understand the words of the A'imma. When we look at the day of Ashura, Imam Hussein, he says something beautiful. He's addressing the army of Umar ibn Sa'ad. What does he say? He addresses the army, he's speaking to them over and over again. He says, I am inviting you to the path of guidance. Whoever obeys me, he will become successful. Whoever disobeys me will be destroyed. But he says, yet I know that you are going to disobey me. Why? He says, I know that you're not going to listen to me. Why? He continues, he says, for verily your stomachs have been filled with haram. Your stomachs have been filled with haram. Now, these individuals, they weren't eating haram meat, but they were committing haram. They were absorbing haram. And this haram had created this reality where the Imam is speaking to them, but they cannot hear him, they cannot understand him as a result of their sins. Another way that Ahlul Bayt are trying to get us to understand this point. There's a hadith which says that the adl has an inverse relationship with your sins. The adl, the rational intellect, the way that we think, the way that we process information, it has an inverse relationship. I'm not very good at math, but it's a basic chart. As the sins go up, the adl goes down. What does this mean? Let's dissect this. That when we say a sin, what is a sin? At its core level, my brothers and sisters, a sin is an irrational action. Find me one sin that makes sense. Find me one sin that's good for you, that benefits society. Every sin that you are committing is an irrational action. It goes against the aql. The aql says this is bad. You're like, I'm going to do it. Now, Allah has created human beings how? When you commit an action, what happens in the end? You begin to justify it. Have you seen thieves? We don't have many in San Diego, but we have enough. When they steal, in the beginning they feel bad. This is the same with anyone who commits a sin. But over time they begin to justify it. Why? Because the human mind is like this. We have to justify what we're doing. They say, no. What I'm doing is actually good. Because these people, they're rich. They deserve for me to take their wealth. They've oppressed me. I need to take their wealth. I'm doing something good. This is how the mind works. That when you lie, when you drink alcohol, whatever you're doing, in time, the intellect begins to rationalize it. Now you're breaking your logic circuits. You're breaking them. You're looking at the world through a skewed lens. You can't understand reality the way that you should be understanding reality. This is how Allah has created us. As the sins go up, the aql decreases. The aql decreases. There's a joke. I don't know if you guys have Mullah Nasruddin. Familiar or no? It's very familiar in the Iranian lands. But there was a story from Mullah Nasruddin that one day Mullah Nasruddin, he goes to the bread queue. You know, we have these bakeries in the Middle East, beautiful fresh bread. And he was standing and he looks and there's a long line. He says, man, what do I do? He says, everybody, I have an announcement to make. They say, what is it? They say, over there, there's a house. They're giving free food. Everyone leaves the bread queue. They go for the free food. Mullah Nasruddin, he goes to the front of the queue. But suddenly he looks back and he sees there's a long line standing in front of the house. He begins to get a little bit doubtful. He goes and he stands in the line. He's waiting for the free food. Someone comes to him and says, Mullah, you were the one who made the lie. He says, I saw all of these people. I thought to myself, all these people can't be standing here for nothing. There must be some free food. This is how we function. This is how we work. So the army which is fighting Imam Hussein, what have they done? They lack basira. They can't hear. They can't understand because they have filled their insides with haram. Their adl doesn't work anymore. Their heart doesn't work anymore. We too have to recognize something. That we are not immune from this. Some of the people in the army of Umar ibn Sa'ad, some of the people in the army of Yazid, they were at one point people like us. They prayed, they fasted, maybe they were sincere to some degree. But as they began to commit sins, as they began to move away from the path of Allah, Shaitan tricked them and he pulled them until they reached this point. And this is where the adl completely dies, where you begin to see evil as good and good as evil. This is when the adl has completely died. The heart has completely died. May Allah protect us from this, because we have to recognize something, that within each and every one of us, there is a potential to become one of the worst of criminals. I wish we had a letter protecting us. Allah says, you're good, you're protected. But every single person here, we have the potential to become like the companions of Imam Hussein. And we have the potential to become like the army of Yazid. What matters is the actions that we do, the good actions that we commit, and the staying away of these sins. Inshallah, Allah will protect us. Recite the salawat, please. Now, the topic for tonight, it was a little bit of a different topic. I wanted to finish up last night. Inshallah, we'll proceed as much as possible with this topic tonight. I mentioned that when we look at the events of Karbala, what we're really seeing is a university with doors, that when you enter one of these doors, there are 1,000 more doors. And whenever you open one of those doors, there are 1,000 more doors. And it is lessons which we can learn from Imam Hussein, which are unlimited, they can never end. One of the questions that comes up as a result of the events of Karbala, it's a good question, it's an important question, is a question on calamities and difficulties. The question is as follows: why do bad things happen to good people? It's a question.
Great question.
A lot of people, they wonder about this. If today they told us that Allah has sent down a letter somewhere in this masjid, in the basement, on the roof, and the letter is going to give us an easy life, meaning that if we go and we sign our name in the letter, we're going to have no difficulties ever, no calamities ever. We won't have to work for a bit. We're going to have a money tree in our backyard that we pull $100 bills out of. Everyone would rush towards, we would sign our names, wouldn't we? You've seen the scenes from Black Friday, the people rushing into the Walmart and fighting each other for the TV. It would be worse than that. Because every single person here, we want an easy life. We want a life which is comfortable and without any difficulties or any calamities. And as human beings, Allah has created us like this. Because as a human being, we go towards pleasure, we go towards ease and comfort, and we recoil from anything which is painful. If Allah had not created us like this, instead of sleeping on the bed tonight, we'd be sleeping on the concrete and we get bitten by a snake or a scorpion, we'd last 2 or 3 days. So Allah has created us like this in order to protect us. So then the question comes, why do bad things happen to good people? It seems to go against the nature which Allah has created amongst us. And it gets stranger, because when we look at the life of Rasulullah, we see something strange. Rasulullah, he says that out of all of the prophets, out of all of the people, I am the one who has been the most tormented. Nobody has been tormented like me. No one has faced difficulties and calamities like me. Rasulullah, the individual who worships Allah with the utmost understanding from the moment that he is born, he is worshipping Allah at the heights of worship. Everything that he has done for the sake of Allah, and he is saying that he has faced the most calamities, the most difficulties. Why? And then we look at Imam Ali alayhi salam, unbelievable difficulties. Fatimatu Zahra, salamullah alayha, unbelievable difficulties. Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, all of these Ahlul Bayt are facing unbelievable difficulties. And then it gets stranger. Do you know who never faced any difficulties in his life? Fir'aun. It's been narrated in our traditions that Fir'aun, he didn't even suffer from a common cold, not once. Everything smooth, everything easy. Seemingly blessings coming from everywhere. This is Fir'aun, this is the individual who kills people, innocent people. He rips babies out of the wombs of women. At one point he says, I am your Lord. He even claims divinity for himself. And yet, Allah has given him this kind of a life, while the ones who love Allah the most, they are undergoing difficulties and tribulations. The question is why? If we understand this question, we're going to understand why we are alive and what we are doing. It's a very important question. Please recite a salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
There's 3 points that I'm going to mention tonight, inshallah, as to why we face difficulties and tribulations. The first is that difficulties and calamities are a way of building us up as human beings. I'm sure you guys have had these kinds of days where you don't do anything. The teenagers know what I'm talking about. You sit and you play Xbox all day. You watch TV all day. And when night comes, how did you feel? Some people might say, I felt really good. I felt really relaxed. But the normal reaction, the way that we feel, is we feel horrible, we feel useless. Now remember when difficulties came, that you went to university, you had to undergo the difficulty of taking tests. How did you feel when the time came and you passed your tests and you received your degree? That feeling of success, that feeling of achievement. You felt really good. Allah is using difficulties. This world uses difficulties in order to build us up. This is point number one. Point number two is that the difficulties and the calamities and the tests that you face, they are a means of you recognizing and realizing yourself. Every human being, whether he's a thief, whether he's a murderer, or whether he's a mu'min, when you ask him, you say, are you a good person? He says, of course I'm a good person. I'm a great person. Everyone says this. You won't find a single person who says he's an evil person. Even the murderer, he says, but I have a good heart. I'm not a bad person. I have a good heart. I made a mistake. Allah uses these calamities, He uses these tests in order to recognize who is lying when they say they are a good person and who is telling the truth. There's a beautiful verse in the Quran. It says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون ولقد فتنا الذين من قبلهم فليعلمن الله الذين صدقوا وليعلمن الكاذبين. Allah is saying, do you really think that we're going to leave you alone? You say that I believe in you, Ya Allah, that I have faith and you're going to go to paradise? Allah says, I'm going to send you tests, just as the people before you were tested, until I know who is truthful and who is lying. The test, the calamity, my brothers and sisters, it brings out the real you. Where is the real you hiding? It usually comes out during the month of Ramadan. Have you noticed when you take away a little bit of food from people, a little bit of water, you take away their cigarettes, you take away their caffeine, suddenly a monster comes out. You're like, whoa, where did this come from? He's a good person. Where did this come from? You take away a little bit of difficulty, the real you comes out. This is how you recognize yourself. How else would you know what kind of a person you are inside? I'm going to give you guys another example. There is an individual by the name of Hassan. Just if you're wondering, this is not a real example. Don't look at the Hassans in this audience. Hassan, he's about 35 years old, let's imagine. He doesn't have a job. He lives at home. He's unmarried. But he has very good akhlaq. His parents are very nice to him as well. They give him everything he needs. They're also very nice. They have good akhlaq with him. He has beautiful akhlaq. Question: does Hassan have good akhlaq? What's the answer? I see one no. I already said he has good akhlaq. What's the answer?
We don't know until we test it.
The answer is we don't know. Even Hassan doesn't know. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is sending you these tests, He is sending you these examinations and these difficulties, He's allowing you to realize who you are. We don't understand, so we get angry at Allah. We say, Ya Allah, why did you do this to me? Why am I suffering like this? Allah is giving you a gift. He's giving you an opportunity to see who you really are. Is there a monster inside? Or is there something beautiful inside? Point three, difficulties are a way that we get to a higher level. Imagine you're at this level. You want to get to a higher level. There is a key that every athlete and every scholar and every spiritual master, he understands. And this is the secret to our lives here on this earth. How do you grow? Simple. Apply stress, then apply rest. Again, apply stress, then apply rest. Apply stress, apply rest. Ask any bodybuilder, how do you build muscle? You apply stress, and then you rest. The muscle grows. How do you achieve spiritual growth? You apply stress, you do more a'mal, you grow. How do you learn? How do you gain knowledge? You apply stress through that stress of study, and then you rest a little bit. You let it settle. You grow. Allah is using these calamities, these difficulties as a stressor. He is allowing you to grow and He is allowing you to progress. The next time you see a calamity come your way, my brothers and sisters, a test, a difficult time, thank Allah. Allah, alhamdulillah, for giving me this opportunity to prove myself. And Ya Allah, make it easy for me. Allow me to pass this test. Please recite a salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد
it gets stranger. There's one hadith that it says that if 40 days passes, and in those 40 days nothing difficult happens to you, nothing bad happens to you, everything is smooth, not even a cut, not even a scratch, then maybe it's time for you to analyze your behavior. Why? I'm going to give this is the West, I'm going to give a haram example. My apologies ahead of time. We have basketball players, for those of you who are into sports. Imagine that a basketball player goes and for 10 days straight, he parties. A'udhu billah. He's not a Muslim, he doesn't know. He parties for 10 days, and then he comes back to his coach after 10 days of not sleeping and ingesting haram, toxic substances into his body, into his system. He comes to his coach and he says, "Coach, I'm ready for training." If it's a good coach, he's going to look at him and he says, "If I train you right now, do you know what's going to happen? You're going to get injured. You're going to damage your body. You're not ready to be trained. You're not worthy to be trained." Allah is doing the same thing with us. Our sins are the same. When we commit a sin, we're putting toxins into our body, we're damaging our soul. And if Allah is not seeing us worthy of being tested, maybe our sins have reached the point where Allah is looking at us like, He's not ready. If I push Him, He's going to break. It's time to reanalyze, because Allah will send you tests. He will send you ways for you to remember what you are doing and what your purpose in life is. Now the Quran, it has a really interesting verse on this issue. It's a beautiful verse. It's really a surprising verse. It says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَلَوْلَا أَن يَكُونَ النَّاسُ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً لَجَعَلْنَا لِمَن يَكْفُرْ بِالرَّحْمَنِ لِبُيُوتِهِمْ سُقُفًا مِّن فِضَّةٍ وَمَعَارِجَ عَلَيْهَا يَدْحَرُونَ. Allah says something else. He says, were it not for the danger that mankind would be one community, we would have surely made for those who are kafirs, who defy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we would have made silver staircases for their homes and silver roofs. Ya Allah. If it wasn't for the danger that we would all leave Iman, you would give the kuffar, those who defy Allah, those who do fornication, those who do drink alcohol, those who do qibah, those who they don't even believe in God, you would give them all of this wealth? Why? Why not give us the wealth? My brothers and sisters, sometimes when we make bad choices, we commit sins. Allah, He reminds us because He loves us. He says, come back to me. But if we continue to commit sins and we continue to commit sins, some people, they don't take no for an answer. Allah says, come back, you've committed a sin, I'm going to forgive you. He says, no, I want to commit more sins. He goes and he commits more sins. Allah says, come back, I'm forgiving, come back. He says, no, he commits more sins. In some cases, Allah will actually give wealth and blessings to the individual as a punishment. Fir'aun was an example. I'm sure in the beginning, Allah is saying, come back, I'm going to forgive you. Fir'aun, he continues to commit sin after sin. At some point, Allah says, you don't want to follow me, you don't want forgiveness, then I'm going to give you something where you will forget about me completely. Money, wealth, women, whatever you want, I will give it to you. You will never remember my remembrance. May Allah protect us from this. This is a possibility that we all face if we go on the path of sins. And by the way, my brothers and sisters, if you look at Shaitan, he's a clever individual. He's not going to come and put alcohol in front of me or you. He says, okay, after you've prayed Salatul Jama'ah, go and drink alcohol. We're not going to drink alcohol. What Shaitan does with people like us who are religious is he begins with small baby steps. He says, you know that individual, I saw him looking at you cross-eyed? I think he's doing your qibah. Preemptively do his qibah. Protect yourself. This is how Shaitan works for people like us. We have to be very careful that Shaitan is an enemy to us. He's always trying to fool us. He's always trying to defeat us. Inshallah, Allah will give us this ability to recognize, have the basira of who Shaitan is and what his tricks are. Inshallah. I remember that I had this teacher in middle school. I think it was mathematics. To this day, I dislike mathematics. We would go in and it was first period. And you know, first period in the winter, you come in from the cold and it's a warm classroom. And you're tired. And your eyes begin to get heavy. This teacher, he had this interesting habit. He had a ruler. And whenever we begin to doze off, he would take that ruler and he would smack it on our desk. And what it would do is it would wake us up. And so sometimes when Allah is sending you these difficulties, He sees that you're going off track. He sees that you're going off track and He uses the calamity as a ruler smack and He wakes you up. If at that time when you're going off track, you're getting absorbed in dunya, your heart is growing fond of dunya, and you say, Ya Allah, give me more wealth, instead you get a calamity. If Allah had given you wealth at that time, what would have happened to you? You would have gone even more off track. We don't recognize it at the time that Allah is helping us, He is blessing us. At the time we say, Ya Allah, why did I go bankrupt, for example? I pray, I fast, I do all of these things and you made me go bankrupt. We don't realize that Allah is protecting us. Alright, please recite a salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
There are a series of traditions that also confuse people. I wanted to explain these traditions. That when we look at these series of traditions, it says something which a lot of people, they say, how is this possible? The traditions, they say that as your iman increases, your level of calamities and your level of difficulties will also increase. People are going to ask the question, Ya Allah, does that mean if I recite more Quran and I give more charity and I'm good to my parents, I'm going to have a harder life? If that's the case, you know, you see the beggar on the street corner and you can't have it, so I'm not going to give you anything. Tomorrow maybe another difficulty will come upon me. Is that what it means? This is a mistaken understanding, my brothers and sisters. It does not mean that Allah is going to give you a more difficult life. As your iman increases, this is how we can understand it. As your iman increases, as you pray more, as you fast more, as you recite the Quran more, as you begin to connect to Allah more, what happens? You remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has given you everything in this world. Really, look at ourselves. What is it that we don't have in this life? Is there anything that we lack? I'm not talking about the Lamborghinis and people say, I want that and I want... The things that we need, what is it that we lack? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us everything that we need. As your iman grows, as your connection with Allah grows, you feel a sense of responsibility towards Allah. You say, Ya Allah, you have given me everything in this world. Let me at least do something for your sake. And as you go out into the world and you do more for the sake of Allah, difficulties will come your way. Let me give you an example. Imagine that someone is praying and fasting and they're increasing their ibadat. As their level of iman increases, they feel a sense of responsibility before Allah who has given them everything. They say, this city does not have an Islamic school. Let me go and let me build an Islamic school for the sake of Allah. This individual, are difficulties and calamities going to come his way? Oh, you better believe it. Difficulty after difficulty, calamity after calamity. But where is it coming from? It's coming from the people. That's the calamity, that's the difficulty. When we look at the lives of the Ahlul Bayt, where were their calamities and their difficulties coming from? Their iman was at a very high level. They're doing things for the sake of Allah. They're inviting people to the cause of Allah. What is taking place? The people are the form of their calamity and their difficulties. It's a choice that they're making. You building that school, it's a choice that you're making. You're willingly undertaking this for the sake of Allah. So never think that as a result of your iman, that somehow the calamities are going to increase. No, as a result of the iman, you will do more for the sake of Allah. And the difficulties will come, but the pleasures will come too. The pleasures will come too. Oftentimes we forget about that, that when you go through the calamity, what is it? Pleasure. So we have to keep this in mind, inshallah. When we look at the story of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, we see that even the Ahlul Bayt, it was a choice that they were making. Karbala was a choice. At one point, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he goes and he visits the grave of his grandfather Rasulullah and he complains to him. He says, Ya Rasulullah, the people have abandoned me. The people are hunting me. The people are treating me in this way. What should I do? And he sees Rasulullah in a dream. Rasulullah says to him that you have a rank which you must achieve before you come to us, before you meet us. We have narrations that on the prelude to the events of Karbala, the angels would come to Imam al-Hussein and they would say, Ya Imam, we are here at your service. Tell us what we should do with these enemies. If you give the command, Allah has given us the permission to destroy these people. Do you know what Imam Hussein said? He said to them, O angels, what is more pleasing to my Lord? What is more pleasing to my Lord? What is it that will make him happier, more satisfied with me? The angels would say that Allah has said that it is more pleasing for him that you are killed in the path of him. He would say, then I accept, I'm going to go and fight and I'm going to be killed. Again, the angels would come again, they would give him the choice. Ya Aba Abdullah, we have been given permission to destroy these enemies. These are the Ahlul Bayt. They have the power of the universe in their hands. Again, you would ask, what is most pleasing to my Lord? They would say, it is most pleasing to your Lord that you fight and you are killed in His way. He would say, then so be it. I will fight and I will be killed in His way. He knows that through this fight, through this sacrifice, He's going to save this religion of Islam. So even the Ahlul Bayt, they had a choice. The choices that we make is something very similar as well, that we need to be careful that every single day that we wake up, Allah gives us choices as well. The choice to be good, the choice to be evil, the choice to beautify the soul, the choice to disfigure the soul, the choice to increase our basira, the choice to kill our basira. This is all a choice that we have. Inshallah, Allah will give us the tawfiq of increasing our basira. Inshallah, He will hasten the reappearance of the Imam, and that we will see him, and not only will we see him, but we will be a part of his movement, and we will be from his closest helpers and his closest companions, inshallah. Inshallah, I want to go into a few moments of musibah. One of the things that really breaks the heart, because we were speaking about this issue of basira. When I think of basira, I can think of very few people who had as much basira as the brother of Imam Hussein, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. Many of you know this, that when Imam Ali alayhi salam, he was looking for a wife to marry, he goes to his brother Aqil. He says, Ya Aqil, I am looking for a wife who has a lineage which is the bravest of the lineages. That they have the champions in the lineage of this woman. Find me a woman who has these characteristics. His brother Aqil goes and he looks and he says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, I have found you a woman whose lineage is filled with brave and courageous individuals. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he knows that one day his son Hussein is going to need a helper. His son Hussein is going to be left all alone in the deserts of Karbala. He knows that he is going to need someone to support him. He marries al-Baneen. He marries this woman by the name of Fatima Kalabiyya. And in addition to this bravery that Fatima Kalabiyya has, al-Baneen has, she is also a woman of great understanding. She has basira, she has ma'rifah. When we look at her, the narrations, they mentioned that when she marries Imam Ali and she comes to the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen, she sees the children. Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein and the rest of them are there. They call her by the name of Fatima. Do you know what she tells them? She says to them, please do not call me by the name of Fatima, because I fear that it is going to remind you of the sorrows of your mother Fatima and it will cause you pain and grief. She says, consider me as your servant instead. I am your servant only. Look at this level of iman. When you look at Abu al-Fadl and you see the level of ma'rifah that he has, this is his mother. This is his mother. It's been narrated that when he was a young child, Abu al-Fadl, he treated Imam Hussein with a level of respect that we don't see amongst brothers. We see that whenever Imam Hussein alayhi salam was sitting and he wanted to come and he wanted to sit, he would never sit before him until he had asked him for permission. He would never say, Ya Hussein. He wouldn't even say, oh my brother, Ya Akhi. He would only use one of three titles. He would either say, Ya Sayyidi,
Or he would say, Yabna Rasulullah, or he would say, Ya Aba Abdullah. He would never call him by his first name. What is even stranger is that we look and we see that when Abu al-Fadl is born to Amir al-Mu'mineen, he's a young child. You know how babies, they put them in the swaddling cloth, they wrap them in the swaddling cloth. We see that Amir al-Mu'mineen or al-Mu'mineen had wrapped them in this swaddling cloth. We see that Amir al-Mu'mineen would approach Abu al-Fadl while he was an infant. And al-Baneen sees this and she thinks this is something very strange. She sees that Amir al-Mu'mineen approaches the baby. He removes the swaddling cloth. He begins to kiss the little hands of Abu al-Fadl. And he begins to weep and he begins to weep and cry. Baneen, she sees this, she says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, why are you doing this? I haven't seen you do this with any of your other children. She says, Ya Baneen, a time will come when these arms are going to be sacrificed in the cause of my son Hussein. This is who Abu al-Fadl was. This is his rank before Amir al-Mu'mineen. It's been mentioned that on the day of Ashura, at one point he approaches his brother. He says, Ya Aba Abdullah, please give me permission to go and fight against these munafiqs. He says, my chest, it feels tight. I'm feeling in pain as a result of what I have seen from these individuals. Imam Hussein, he looks at him, he says, you are my alamdar. Anta sahib al-liwai, you are my standard bearer. You are the commander of my army. If you go, who is going to be my commander? Abbas, he looks at him, he says, Ya Sayyidi, there is no one left. Everyone has been killed in the army. I'm the only one that's left. At this moment, the sound of the crying of the children comes. They hear the crying of the children. The children are crying, Al-Atash, Al-Atash. They are crying, the thirst is killing us. Children 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, they're weeping, they're crying for water. At this moment, Abu Abdullah, he says, Ya Abbas, you have my permission to go, but do something first. He says, go and at least bring some water for these children. Abbas, it is mentioned that he gets on his horse. He says, I will bring water back. He goes through the ranks of the enemy. He fights with the enemy. Eventually, he reaches the ranks of the Furat. When he reaches the ranks of the Furat, he gets off his horse. He fills up his water skin. It's been mentioned the enemy is watching him. The enemy sees him take a handful of water. He brings it up as if he's about to drink. The enemy says at that moment he pauses. They didn't know why he paused. We don't know what he's thinking, but we know his last words from Amir al-Mu'mineen. What does his father tell him when he was on his deathbed in Kufa? We know that Amir al-Mu'mineen, as he is lying on his deathbed, he says, my son, come to me. Abbas comes close. Amir al-Mu'mineen grabs him. He hugs him. He embraces him. He says, oh my son, on the day of Ashura, you're going to do something that is going to make me proud. Ya Abbas, on that day, may you not drink any of the water before your brother drinks. May you not drink any of the water while your brother Hussein is still thirsty. The enemy says, we see that he drops the water back into the river. He gets back on his horse. He gets on his horse and he begins to ride through the enemy. He's fighting through the enemy forces. The enemy is unable to face him face to face. One mal'oon, he hides behind a tree. As Abbas rides by, he strikes him with his sword. He cuts off his right arm. Abbas doesn't hesitate. He continues along the way, another mal'oon. He takes his sword, he cuts him, and he cuts off his left arm. At this point, Abbas has no arms. An arrow comes and strikes him in the arm. It strikes him in the eye. Another arrow comes and strikes him in the chest. Another arrow comes and strikes the water skin. The water begins to pour out. Abbas realizes there's no hope anymore. How is he going to go back to the camp of Imam al-Hussein? The mal'oons, they surround him. One individual strikes him with a sword. One individual strikes him in the head with an iron mace. Another individual strikes him. They continue to strike him. The last words of Abbas is Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليكم مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت بقي الليل والنهار الصلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
Hussein, Ya 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 Hussein, Hussein, Ya 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 Hussein.
ہو گیا مرنا ستم عباس کا، 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 ہو گیا مرنا ستم عباس کا،
دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا، دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا، لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین، دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا، دی بشیر روکے یہ صدا، لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین، گل ہوا چراغ لو مدینے کا ہے، گل ہوا چراغ لو مدینے کا، لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین، دی بشیر نے آئے، دی بشیر نے لٹ گئے حرام، وہ مجاور روضہ نبی اس مدینے کی جس سے زیب تھی، وہ مجاور روضہ نبی اس مدینے کی جس سے زیب تھی، خاک میں اسے لو ملا دیا، ہائے خاک میں اسے لو ملا دیا، لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے، دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا، دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا، لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین، گل ہوا چراغ لو مدینے کا، گل ہوا چراغ لو مدینے کا، لٹ گئے دوپہر تلک خواب گھر ہوا، حسب کو کٹا شاہ کا گھر، دوپہر تلک خواب گھر ہوا، حسب کو کٹا شاہ کا کٹا، بعد قتل شاہ خیمہ جل گیا، ہائے بعد قتل شاہ خیمہ جل گیا، لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین، دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا، آئے دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا، لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین، مٹ گئی جو ہے شکل مصطفیٰ، مٹ گئی جو ہے شکل مصطفیٰ، زندگی سے ہاتھ چین دو دیا، رن میں نوجوان شہ کا مر گیا، ہائے رن میں نوجوان شہ کا مر گیا، لٹ گئے مر گئے حسین، دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا، ہائے دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا، لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین، دیووں کو کیا
پر سوار دیووں کو کیا اونٹوں پر سوار دی مریض کے ہاتھ میں مہار منزلوں غریب کانٹوں پر چلا ہائے منزلوں غریب کانٹوں پر چلا لٹ گئے حرام حسین دی بشیر نے ہائے دی بشیر نے لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین ناتوان نے پہنی بیڑیاں ناتوان نے پہنی بیڑیاں ہو گئی اسیر ساری بیویاں قید کی گئی آل مصطفیٰ ہائے قید کی گئی آل مصطفیٰ لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا ہائے دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین گل ہوا چراغ لو مدینے کا گل ہوا چراغ لو مدینے کا لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین تیر سے چھتا حلق بے زبان تیر سے چھتا حلق بے زبان مر گیا صغیر لے کے ہچکیاں نارے ظلم سے جھولا جل گیا نارے ظلم سے جھولا جل گیا لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا ہائے دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین گل ہوا چلا لو مدینے کا ہائے گل ہوا چلا لو مدینے کا لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا دی بشیر نے روکے یہ صدا لٹ گئے حرام مر گئے حسین یا حسین
حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین حسین
اربعین کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا 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 لے کے داغ سینے پر شاہ کی جدائی کا حق ادا کرے زینب کیسے اپنے بھائی کا قافلہ اتر آیا صبر کی خدائی کا قافلہ اتر آیا صبر کی خدائی کا کربلا کے میدان پر فاطمہ کی جائی کا اربعین کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا اربعین کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا بھائی کیا سناؤں میں ہم پہ کیا ستم گزرے بعد عصر عاشورا بے کفن تھے سب لاشیں شام غم کے جاتے ہی
موت کے بھرے سائے شام غم کے جاتے ہی موت کے بھرے سائے چھن گئی ردا میری بھائی جل گئے خیمے اربعین کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا اربعین کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا باد کربلا بھائی ہر قدم قیامت تھی بیردار سن بستا رائے شام سے گزری بھائی ہم تماشا تھے راستے تماشائی بھائی ہم تماشا تھے راستے تماشائی ہر قدم دعا یہ تھی کاش موت آ جائے اربعین کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا اربعین کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا بھائی اب خدا حافظ قبر سے چلی زینب بن تیرے گزارے گی کیسے زندگی زینب اٹھ گئی فرید آخر کہہ کے علی زینب اٹھ گئی فرید آخر کہہ کے علی زینب رنج و غم کی دنیا میں پھر سے کھو گئی زینب اربعین کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا اربعین کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا
یا حسین 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 ماتم نہیں توڑنا ہے یا حسین 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 تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں 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 او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں ماشاءاللہ او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا سب مل کے ماشاءاللہ تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں انجے لتے ہوئے در میں دے تے کروڑا بھول گئیاں تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں
او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا او انج لتے ہوئے در مینڈے انج لتے ہوئے در مینڈے تے کروڑا بھول گئیا تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا ماشاءاللہ مومنی گئیا تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا او بابا میں کشام کے لوکاں نے تیرے بعد کنیز وچ منگیا او بابا میں کشام کے لوکاں نے تیرے بعد کنیز وچ منگیا او میں غیرت سیداں دی او ویلے مر گئیا تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا ماشاءاللہ مومنی تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا آؤ اند لندے ہوئے در مینڈے انج لتے ہوئے در مینڈے تے کروڑا بھول گئیا تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں بھول گئیا تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا آؤ تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا او جڑا گل تیرے دربا چلیا میں کھول کھلو کے ڈینڈی رہے او جڑا گل تیرے دربا چلیا میں کھول کھلو کے ڈینڈی نہیں ملیا سر تینا نہیں ملیا سر تینا تر لے کر جی رہیا تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا ماشاءاللہ مومنین سب مل کے او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا او انج لتے ہوئے در مینڈے انج لتے ہوئے در مینڈے تے کروڑا بھول گئیا تیرا سینہ نہیں منگدا میں بھول گئیا او تیرا سینہ نہیں لگدا میں بھول گئیا او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا او جڑا وکری قید دا حکم ہویا میں کو کلیاں تنگ زندہ دے او جڑا وکری قید دا حکم ہویا میں کو کلیاں تنگ زندہ دے انج روندی میں ٹریاں انج روندی میں ٹریاں قیدن میں رل گئیاں تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا ماشاءاللہ مومنین بابا میں رل گئیا او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیا انج لتے ہوئے در مینڈے انج لتے ہوئے در مینڈے تے کروڑا بھول گئیا تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیا او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا میں رل گئیا او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا میں رل گئیا او بابا میں کشام دے لوکاں نے تیرے بعد کنیزی وچ منگیا او بابا میں کشام کے لوکاں نے تیرے بعد کنیزی وچ منگیا او میں غیرت سیداں دی غیرت سیداں دی او ویلے مر گئیا تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیا او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا انج لتے ہوئے در میں دے انج لتے ہوئے در میں دے تے کروڑا بھول گئیاں تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا او دیتا پہلا پرسا مقتل وچ میں کشمر لہین یتیمی دا او دیتا پہلا پرسا مقتل وچ میں کشمر لہین یتیمی دا انج ظالم ہتھ چایا انج ظالم ہتھ چایا او میں خاک تے جھڑ پئیاں تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں انج لگتے ہوئے ڈر میں دے انج لگتے ہوئے ڈر میں دے تے کروڑا بھول گئیاں تیرا سینہ نہیں منگدا بابا میں رل گئیاں او تیرا سینہ نہیں منگدا بابا میں رل گئیاں او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں او شالا کوئی دھی نہ انج گزرے بے سر بابے دی لاش ادھو شالا کوئی دھی نہ انج گزرے بے سر بابے تے لاش ادھو جیوے میں رسیاں پاکے جیوے میں رسیاں پاکے تینڈی لاش تمہیں گزریاں تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں آؤ انج لتے ہوئے در میں دے انج لتے ہوئے در میں دے تے کروڑا بھول گئیاں تیرا سینہ نہیں منگدا بابا میں رل گئیاں تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں او چالا کوئی دھینا انچ گزرے بے سر بابے دی لاش اتوں چالا کوئی دھینا انچ گزرے بے سر بابے دی لاش اتوں او جیوے میں رسیاں پاکے جیوے میں رسیاں پاکے تینڈی لاش تو گزریاں تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں مومن او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں او تیرا سینہ نہیں لبدا بابا میں رل گئیاں یا حسین 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 چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر عباس چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر عباس چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آباد چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آباد چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آباد شہیدی سب مل کے ماشاءاللہ آخری نو ہے چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آباد چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آباد قدم قدم پہ رہے ساتھ عمر بھر آباد قدم قدم پہ رہے ساتھ عمر بھر آباد چلے ہو کس پہ. آپ لوگوں نے ایک لائن دہرانی ہے میرے ساتھ بس یہ والی صرف ایک لائن دہرانی ہے. چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ ماشاءاللہ چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر یہ جانتے ہو سکینہ کا حال کیا ہوگا یہ جانتے ہو سکینہ کا حال کیا ہوگا پلٹ کے آئے نہ دریا سے تم مگر آباد چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آباد چلے ہو کس پہ ماشاءاللہ چھوڑ کر کوئی ہے نوحہ کنائے کوئی تڑپتا ہے کوئی ہے نوحہ کنائے کوئی تڑپتا ہے پناہ ہے درد کی تصویر گھر کا گھر آباد چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آباد چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آباد چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آباد نہ جانے کیا ہوا ساکت ہے بولتی ہی نہیں نہ جانے کیا ہوا ساکت ہے بولتی ہی نہیں پلٹ کے دیکھ لو زینب کو ایک نظر آباد شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آباد چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر خبر نہ ہوگی تمہیں تم تو سو رہے ہوگے خبر نہ ہوگی تمہیں تم تو سو رہے ہوگے جب ہوگی زینب دلگیر در بدر آباد چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آباد چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آباد گئے جو تم سوئے مقتل صبا سے کچھ نہ کہا گئے جو تم سوئے مقتل صبا سے کچھ نہ کہا کھڑے نہ رہ سکے ضبطِ نبی مگر آباد شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آباد چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آخری بات چلے ہو کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر تمہارے بعد جو ہونا تھا وہ ہوا خیر تمہارے بعد جو ہونا تھا وہ ہوا خیر حسین مر گئے زینب ہیں ننگے سر آباد کس پہ شہیدی کو چھوڑ کر آباد चले हो किस पे शहीदी को अब्बा चले हो किस पे शहीदी को छोड़कर अब्बा चले हो किस पे शहीदी को छोड़कर या हुसैन 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 या हुसैन
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inshallah, we're going to recite a special ziyarah for the day of Arbaeen. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام على ولي الله وحبيبه. السلام على خليل الله ونجيبه. السلام على صفي الله وابن صفيه. السلام على صفي الله وابن صفيه. السلام على الحسين المظلوم الشهيد. السلام على أسير الكربات وقتيل العبرات. اللهم إني أشهد أنه وليك وابن وليك وصفيك وابن صفيك الفائز بكرامتك. أكرمته بالشهادة وحبوته بالسعادة واجتبيته بطيب الولادة وجعلته سيدا من السادة وقائدا من القادة وذائدا من الذادة وأعطيته مواريث الأنبياء وجعلته حجة على خلقك من الأوصياء فأعذر في الدعاء ومنح النصح وبذل مهجته فيك ليستنقذ عبادك من الجهالة وحيرة الضلال. وقد توازر عليه من غرته الدنيا وباع حظه بالأرزل الأدنى وشرى آخرته بالثمن الأوكاس وتغطرس وتردى في هواه وأسخطك وأسخط نبيك وأطاع من عبادك أهل الشقاق والنفاق وحملة الأوزار المستوجبين النار فجاهدهم فيك صابرا محتسبا حتى سفك في طاعتك دمه واستبيح حريمه. اللهم فلعنهم لعنا وبيلا وعذبهم عذابا أليما. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الأوصياء. أشهد أنك أمين الله وابن أمينه. عشت سعيدا ومضيت حميدا ومت فقيدا مظلوما شهيدا. وأشهد أن الله منجز ما وعدك ومهلك من خذلك ومعذب من قتلك. وأشهد أنك وفيت بعهد الله وجاهدت في سبيل
سبيلك حتى أتاك اليقين. فلعن الله من قتلك، ولعن الله من ظلمك، ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. اللهم إني أشهدك أني ولي لمن والاه وعدو لمن عاداه، بأبي أنت وأمي يا ابن رسول الله. أشهد أنك كنت نورا في الأصلاب الشامخة والأرحام المطهرة، لم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها، ولم تلبسك المتلهمات من ثيابها. وأشهد أنك من دعائم الدين وأركان المسلمين ومعقل المؤمنين. وأشهد أنك الإمام البر التقي الرضي الزكي الهادي المهدي. وأشهد أن الأئمة من ولدك كلمة التقوى وأعلام الهدى والعروة الوثقى والحجة على أهل الدنيا. وأشهد أني بكم مؤمن وبإيابكم موقن بشرائع ديني وخواتيم عملي، وقلبي لقلبكم سلم وأمري لأمركم متبع ونصرتي لكم معدة حتى يأذن الله لكم. فمعكم لا مع عدوكم، معكم لا مع عدوكم. صلوات الله عليكم وعلى أرواحكم وأجسادكم وشاهدكم وغائبكم وظاهركم وباطنكم، آمين رب العالمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين.
It's highly recommended to do a prayer for 2 rak'ah and ask whatever you would like to ask.
Yeah.